Hey guys, so today is day 7 of the Booktubeathon and it is the last day. Sorry about the weird lighting. I have left filming until 6 PM at night, so the sun is starting to slowly set, so there's weird lighting outside. In terms of reading update, today I've been making my way through Runaway by Meg Cabot. I am 138 pages through. It is 310 pages long, so I'm pretty sure I'll finish this tonight. That's the aim at least, so once I film this I'm probably going to sit down and read. But the challenge for the video sector today is to talk about your favourite book. And if any of you have heard of this book before and have read it, then you will probably know which book it's going to be, because it's The Gift by Alison Croggan. And if you're wondering why they would know if you don't know about this book, it's set in a world called Pellinor. It's the first book of Pellinor. My channel name is Autumn of Pellinor. So that's where this came from. And I mean, to start out with like ways that you can tell is that I have a few pages of the book. I don't even think they're in where they should be. Oh, that one is. Oh yay. These aren't, because that's page 277 and that's 202. But I have loads of pages of the book loose. Because I've read it so many times that it's falling apart. Like, the binding is just gone. And I have considered getting a second copy. One that isn't dilapidated, and there's slightly different covers now in the UK. Like, very slightly different. My copy of The Bone Queen has the new covers. So like I could have got a whole new set to match, but this is the book that I fell in love with and that I've read more than 30 times, definitely. I loved the story and I reread it again and again and again and again and again, so it probably would have only been like 10 times if it was in the days of Booktube when I have all these other books and when I was older, when I could buy my own books. But I think I was given this when I was around 12. And it just means that I read it again and again, and I love it. So the other books in the series, that's book 1. Book 2 is The Riddle. Book 3 is The Crow. And book 4 is The Singing, with the prequel of The Bone Queen. This one I read the least because I read it once. I read it last year, I think. It came out in 2016, I read it in 2017, and I've not had the chance to read it again. So this is my least read one. The next one is The Crow because it follows her brother Hem. And although I do like Hem, she was always my favourite character. Myrad is the main character and she was always my favourite, so I didn't read his sections with as much frequency. I haven't gone back to these books for a while, so I'm looking forward to how I see Hem/Kai now, later on. Then I would say, going off of how bashed the spines are, that The Riddle, book 2, is my second least read one. I mean, it's still just the flatness of the lay. That page is almost coming out. It's still been reread many a time, but it just wasn't quite as enticing to me, clearly. Then the final book, The Singing, is the next one after that. But it's also newer, so it doesn't quite lay as flat. I would actually, this is so bad, I would actually skip through this. Here it says Myrad and Hem later, because I would skip through bits and avoid Hem sections and just reread the sections from Myrad. When I read it through the first time, I read them both, but I would avoid the sections with Hem in. So again, when I go back to reread this as an adult, I'm looking forward to seeing how I perceive Hem. And then obviously my most read of the series. So this follows a young girl called Myrad, and she is found in slave quarters of this, like, he's not a baron, but that's how he considers himself, like the owner of the land, and they all work for him. And Cadvan, one of the other main characters in this book, is passing through, and he should be invisible to everybody, but he's not. Myrad can see him. And so he takes a chance with the possibility that she has this great gift to be what we call a bard, and takes her with him, and they escape. And he takes her to the nearest school It's not like school the way that we have it. They have like townships essentially, and the bards have a school there, and people will learn constantly throughout their lives. So he takes her to Ariel, and she starts to develop her gift, hence the name, and starts to develop her skills, and she discovers that she's quite skilled as a bard, and she's under a lot of tutelage because she can't read or write. She was raised as a slave. She was taken into capture with her mother, who's passed away as a slave when she was very, very young, so she was never taught to read or write or anything like that. She's had no education whatsoever, so they have to kind of start from scratch. This is kind of where the story starts coming into its own. Like, I don't want to say any more past this point because that's where the plot starts to twist. But they go on a lot of travels all across the world. There are maps in this book for people who like that sort of thing. So there are maps in all of the books, and then before that there's actually also notes on the text and notes on pronunciation. And I really like the notes on pronunciation because it tells you Myrad, it's spelled M-A-E-R-A-D, and I always pronounce it like weird different ways, and then I was like, wait, it's got this thing at the front, and I read it. It tells you it's pronounced Myrad, so that's handy seeing as it is a fantasy world. And the notes on the text make it seem so real. Like, it makes it seem like it's a retelling of a real life historical event. Alison Croggan puts so much history and so much depth into this world that it's just so filled out and so beautiful, and I admire her writing. And I really do implore you to read this if you like fantasy books. Like, it's described on the back as an epic fantasy, and it really, really is. It's beautifully written, it will engross you, the events that transpire are so interesting and will have you hooked and really needing the next books. And in terms of going back to this world after many years, I didn't reread these before starting on The Bone Queen, the new prequel, because I know the story so well. I was like, I'll just see how it feels going into this. Losing my voice. And I didn't need to reread it. And at the same time, also, it was absolutely lovely to revisit the characters. So this takes place before the events in the main set of 4 books, and it follows Cadvan when he was a bit younger. I absolutely loved seeing Cadvan as a younger man. He is like becoming the man that we know in the main series. Oh, I was just so engrossed in the world yet again, and there were so many bits that just spoke to me, and what happens in this prequel is hinted at in the other 4 books, so it was really lovely to kind of get the more in-depth version of this, because we could always assume, but it's better to know. So yes, that is my favourite series ever. I do have a few different series that I consider favourites. Harry Potter, obviously. Skullduggery Pleasant by Derek Landy is one of my absolute favourites, and there are various others on my bookshelves, but this is the one that I always go back to. This is the one where I'm like, yeah, if I had to pick just one, I couldn't live without it. I really do recommend you pick it up. She's a brilliant, brilliant author. These books mean so much to me. So much. So nowadays I've been annotating my books. So for example here, I put little stickies wherever I annotate, and then I write in it as well. And I don't do that with every single book, but I've been enjoying doing it with some. Like, this one has one tiny bit of writing in pencil, because it didn't feel right to write in this one in pen. It varies book by book. And I don't know, I kind of want to annotate this because it's such a beloved text to me, but at the same time I don't know if I can bring myself to do it. So I think I'll probably just do it with post-its and then maybe see how I feel after that. But yes, this series means a lot to me. I wouldn't be the woman I am today without this series. I'm so glad that one random day my mum brought it home from me, from the bookshop. Now I'm going to relax in bed and read through some more of Airhead. It's not Airhead. It's book 3 in the Airhead series. It's Runaway by Meg Cabot. And yeah, just gonna lie in bed and hopefully finish off that. Oh, and I've not even mentioned, earlier today I finished off the film of Anne of Green Gables and I really loved it, and I want to get the sequel at some point and watch that too. And I definitely want to pick up Anne of Avonlea and just see how it continues. So yeah, I really enjoyed that, and that is another challenge completed. Well, I've made this little chart of the week. I'll switch the camera around and show you it. So I made this little chart for the week. It's in a little notepad that my friend got me and I thought I'd use it. And over here, this is just like what I planned for each day, but then here I put in the different challenges, and technically I could tick off the 7 books because I've read the Bright Shiny Skylar, but I'm not going to tick it off until I read Runaway. But I need to highlight these 2, but I've done all the other challenges, so for me it's been quite a good first ever Booktubeathon. So that's me just finished Runaway by Meg Cabot. I'm giving it 4 out of 5 stars. I've given every single book in this Airhead series 4 out of 5 stars. They're really enjoyable, but they've not got that extra little spark that makes it a 5. There's not that gut feeling that you get when you know you're reading a 5-star book. But they're really good. I really enjoyed them. I recommend, definitely. And that is my readathon done, technically. I'm tempted to try and start reading Unrivaled. I won't finish it tonight, it's like 8:30 and I don't want to just sit and read, so I wouldn't finish it tonight, but I'm tempted to start reading it and to give it a shot. But yes, so in my little plan thing I can now tick off 7 books. I managed 7 books in 7 days, well 8 books technically if you include the kids book. I did the coin toss, I did the book of something that I wanted to do, I watched a movie adaptation, I read books with green on the cover, I wore a hat the whole time reading a book, and I read a book with a beautiful spine. So, a very successful first ever Booktubeathon, I think. It's a pity I couldn't have got to Unrivaled by Alison Noel, but I'm very happy with what I did manage to do. So just in case I don't film any more tonight, because I don't know if I will, thank you so much for watching the last 7 days. I'll be posting a wrap-up of everything in a day or 2. I'm going to try and post it in a day or 2. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll stick around for anything else I make, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Hey guys, my mum is in bed right now, so I'm not going to be too loud, but I have started Unrivaled. I am 109 pages into it, so not overly far, maybe a quarter, and I'm enjoying it. I'm not like obsessed, but I don't want to put it down, so it's an hour until midnight here in the UK, and I won't finish it before then because I need to edit this and upload this and all that, but I will be reading it tomorrow, and fingers crossed I'll have it finished in time to include it in my wrap-up. So I'm going to get going and edit this video and hopefully upload it soon. Thanks for watching.